I'm happy to share our work collaborated with Haolun, Dr. Liu, and Dr. Susanne Lajoie from McGill University. So before we start, here is a little bit about the background, which is the learning context we use in our study, the digital social annotation tool. So what is digital social annotation tool? So at the beginning, it has the original purpose for more effective reading among a larger community with learners asynchronously. So here we can have our access to assign read and assign readings using our laptop or tablet anytime, anywhere, and we can start annotating, leave comments or response to others' posts asynchronously. So in that way, students or learners, especially from higher education, that they can access to their assigned reading from a certain course at their most convenience and also learn from each other. In that way, they have effective communication on the reading context and also can extend their personal reflections, co-constructing knowledge built from the community of inquiries. So we can see that using this digital learning platform is easier for interaction and communication online and without the limit of in-class time. And we can also respond to others' posts if we want to show our supportiveness on a certain comment or personal points of view by leaving a thumbs up, showing a kind of peer acknowledgement to others. So in our study, we specifically interested in how this supportiveness could influence the learner's behavior in social annotation reading in terms of the number of initial annotational posts and their responses of others. And for the second part, we want to see what factors that lead to more peer acknowledgement, which means that what kind of content are more likely to attract more peer support by the number of thumbs up or upvotes received as shown in this picture. So from the educational psychological theories, we filter out 4 dimensions that have the main effects, which we hypothesize could cause or attract more peer acknowledgement in this digital social online context, including the affect, motivation, cognition, and social perspectives. So to be simply introducing what are these 4 major domains, then we are going to examine on their effect on attracting peer acknowledgement. Affect refers to the emotional climate in our context, which is expressed through their written context. And cognition refers to the process of knowledge acquisition, which shows a kind or an extent of critical thinking, knowledge building, and also personal reflections. Motivation is the expressions of the drives of an action, and social has the function to interact with others by casual or less formal conversational style. So our aim of this study is quite simple and direct, to figure out what are the main way of interaction in the social digital learning context. And by targeting our study, we have 2 research questions. The first one is, how does peer acknowledgement influence learners' social annotation behaviors, indicated by the number of annotated posts and responses to others? And the second research question is, what are the predominant linguistic features that affect peer acknowledgement? So as learner, we want to receive more peer acknowledgement, which can motivate us to engage more by posting more annotations to the platform, even not related to the final grade, and also contributed more to response to others. And also we want to see what kinds of posts lead to what quality, or what are the invisible psychological features expressed through linguistic patterns that might attract higher portion of peer acknowledgement. So these are the 2 targets of our study. This is our learning platform called Peruso, and our participants are 91 undergraduate students from a large North American school. Upvotes received or given is not directly impacting their final score. So our data sources are log file data extracted from the Peruso web tool, and it includes 3 major data sources for us to interpret learners' behaviors. The first one is the number of initiate annotations and the number of responses posted. And the second one is the number of peer acknowledgement indicated by the received peer upvotes, as we show on the red circle here. Then the third one, we use text mining to analyze their written content on each annotation post. For example, the blue circle is quoted one of the student whose name is TF's left comments on one of the annotation in an assigned readings. So for the analytic method, for the first research question, we use cross-lag regression because we want to see how is the lag effect of received peer acknowledgement on one of the previous annotation could affect that learner's consecutive or the next annotation behaviors. Because it might motivate them in the next reading, because after one do annotation on one paper or one assigned reading, since it's asynchronously happening, they might only refer to the upvote received and react it in the next assigned readings. And for the second question is, we use the text mining technique for extracting psychological indicators from the written annotation post, and we use a machine learning technique called Shapley value from the game theory for feature selection, which is help us to filtering out the top indicators from the 20 indicators we selected to identify which are the strongest indicators in predicting peer acknowledgement received. So in our first research question, we use linear mixed effect model, which is to control the group effect on individual behavior, because we have 91 students who consecutively doing 29 readings at the same time. So we're trying to control those individual effects on their reading behaviors. And after controlling those group effects indicated personal learning behavior differences, we still find out that there is significant relationship between the received peer acknowledgement at the previous time on initiate annotation behaviors at the next time. So this happens for both annotation behaviors, which means that the number of initiated annotations and the number of responses to others will increase if an individual receives more peer acknowledgement at the last time, which means on the last reading. So this actually functions as a supportive system and a motivational factor that drives a learner to contribute more to the learning community. So this confirms our hypothesis that increased peer acknowledgement actually positively correlates with the surge in subsequent annotation behaviors and responsive engagement at the next time point. So for our second questions, we want to filter out and help us to identify what are the major inferential patterns or the leading words in the written content that might attract more peer support. So using the linguistic indicator from the Look dictionary, which is a helpful text mining tool developed by the Voice team in 2022, we used the most updated dictionary to define the 4 domains on emotion, cognition, motivation, and social by using the specific word identifying the written content referring to a specific indicator from that domain. And we have the linguistic score for each of the categories we filter out. Then we use the Shapley value, which was originated from the game theory to calculate the portion or the magnitude with directions on whether these indicators has positive or negative effect in predicting a peer acknowledgement received. So as we see in this bar chart, we have effect which in both positive and negative dimensions, depending on whether they're like positive or negative emotions. And for most of the motivation indicators, they have the positive effect on peer acknowledgement, while it's very largely on the social dimension, which means that maybe casual conversation style doesn't refer or impact much on the upvote received. So for this figure, it shows more obvious directions on our strong negative and positive indicators. So all these strong indicators filtered out by Shapley value are in 3 of our 4 dimensions hypothesized. It includes positive emotions and motivation and also cognition. However, social factors are contributing less, especially on predicting peer support. So in summary, we identify 3 psychological things that foster peer acknowledgement. We name them as positive affect, which shows a positive or positivity in emotional climate throughout the written content, and also the openness for learning and discussion as the cognitive process and their expression of motivation. We have like 2 quoted from our learners' comments. The blue one refers to openness for learning and discussion, which mentioned that I would love to see more of this type of tech integrity into the classroom as it helps. So the word as it helps shows a certain extent of linkage, logistic thinking about the content itself and the personal experience and its he or she reflectional process. And the purple quote from another student finding his or her personal experience on the dissection course, which she mentioned 3-dimensional dissection is really interesting. And I talked to anatomy courses last year where we missed the experience of dissection bodies in real life, and hopefully, which refers to a strong desire of GIs for action. I get to experience both these sections in virtual reality and in real life. So this is a comment written on one of the articles about the virtual reality applications in subjective specific courses. So by filtering out these indicators on our selected domains, we have found out that these 3 things can effectively serve as positive indicators for peer acknowledgement received. So this leaves us some insights practictionally, and they are important in online asynchronously collaborative learning as well. So for researchers in human-AI interaction, we found out that the method used in our study is very efficient and it requires less human labor on coding, which has already advanced by the AI techniques such as using the Look dictionary and Shapley value machine learning technique to finding out the most stronger predictors. And for programming developer, we can add instant prompts in the social annotation tool as a hint for them to engage more or at least to interact more effectively with others. Also, we can consider to customize learner behavior checking algorithm, checking their written comments and filtering out their psychological indicators using the written comments checking system. So, as a researcher in the domain of educational psychology who are interested in collaborative learning and human-AI interaction, I believe that collaboration makes perfect and I'm happy to share our work with you and have more discussion. Thank you for engaging in today's presentation and enjoy the rest of talks in the CHI conference. Thank you and bye.